Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Live at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
For some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live?
Live from Los Reyes, open air edition of Live at Lunch, live at Los Reyes Mexican Grill on Lee, just off of Nicholson, right across the street from Mike Anderson's. We're in the patio room, so got the garage door, so setting up today. First thing I do is, yes indeed, open up the garage doors and enjoy the weather. Thank you, ma'am. Friendly service over here at Los Reyes. And if you pass by right down the street, we have a little bit of a train that's kind of parked right there at the bright side crossing. So Charlie's a little tardy getting over here today. We're live today, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. here at Los Reyes Mexican Grill. You've heard me talk about it, man. Go down to the Queen on Saturdays, hunker down, and around the evening time, I head on over here and my little spot, to kind of stop in. Watch some of the games. We've got 4 TVs in the patio area. Got people outside already, so you can do entire sun if you want, or you can sit in the covered patio where we're doing the show today. So what a beautiful day today in the capital city. Start off with the different appetizers we had, the Santa Fe egg rolls, the flautas, the potato skins. Mexican pizza is ideal to share over here, and do the bean dip, the queso blanco, or the trio dip with the frioles, the beans, the queso, and the guacamole for just $12. Love the guacamole. I like to get a side of fresh jalapenos as well over here. Fajita nachos, supreme nachos, whatever you want. Then you get into your enchiladas, your burritos, the tacos, or the different items that we have, like you do fish, you can do the carne asada, you can do chicken breasts, grilled salmon, ribeye steak, or the fajitas over here at Los Reyes Mexican Grill. So they're underway at the Arnold Palmer this afternoon. And Max, our resident weatherman, who told us that the morning group may have a little bit more difficult time than the afternoon group, and it appears that way. So of the let me get exactly what it is here. But of the 40 golfers or so that have teed off, 5 are under par right now. Morikawa and Hughes at 2 under, and Davis, Scheffler, and Keegan Bradley at 1 under. Everybody else is even par or over. So you've got, it looks to be about 9 golfers at even par, 5 under par, and looks like about 25 to 30 that are over par. So it's playing tough early on today. So other notable, Potman's having a rough day. He's 7 over. We talked about the Gala yesterday. He's 7 over. Cameron Young is at 7 over as well. Berger is at 3 over through 7 today. He's this is his home swing. Wes Reynolds told us that he was going to play him in all of the Florida tournaments. Hideki Matsuyama is at 1 over, and he's in some trouble. Other notables, Ludwig Aubert is at even par. He is on 10 right now, so even par, he'd definitely take that, although he's in a little trouble. Going to have to scramble to get up and down here at and you can see the flagpoles are windy today. Last night in college basketball, you got to start off with the SEC. And how about senior night? And how about good job by the SEC network. Sometimes they could be a little flowery in their approach, like when telling us that, Matt McMahon's team is still playing hard when they give up 95 points, stuff like that. Don't sloppy passes before half. Don't know when a 1-1 is, and just checked out. But anyway, it was pretty cool because of senior night last night, and the kid Brakefield, the senior, Duke transfer, but been at Ole Miss for 3 or 4 years now, averaging 11 points off the bench for the season for Chris Beard's team. He gets 19, and he carried them on 8 of 9 shooting. He's a big problem. He took some of his NIL money to help somebody out with their tuition. Just a really good story. He's holding it. It looks like he has a child. Just a great, great story. So we hear about all the kind of the me, handout, wasting the money on multiple luxury vehicles and things like that with NIL money. Boy, it's good to hear this type of mature approach, appreciative stories from this kid like Brakefield. 78-76 for Ole Miss over Tennessee. And that with the Florida 99-94 win at Alabama is, boy, just kind of Florida's in. Florida's getting that other number 1 seed. So Auburn's going to get a number 1. Florida will be the second team for the SEC. And then it'll be Duke and Houston. Alabama, and, we talk about this a lot. Look, they played hard. It wasn't like that. They were, there was their senior day. It was the crowd. They were camping out for the game yesterday. But, we talk about if they played 10 times, and I don't know about 10 times in Tuscaloosa, but say 10 times, 5 at Gainesville and 5 at Alabama, or 10 on a neutral. Man, Florida with their size, their strength, and their backcourt did not have a great game last night. For Alabama to beat Florida, they're going to have to shoot ridiculous from the floor. And Florida's too good of a team defensively to just give up clean look after clean look. I'm talking like 8 or 9 times I think Florida would beat Alabama. They're a complete team, and they just dominated. One of the more improved bigs, he has brought it at the biggest time, is Condon. Condon was unbelievable on defending the rim, running the floor, shooting threes, pounding the offensive glass. They out-rebounded Alabama by 15 last night, and a complete win for Florida, and it kind of crystallized it. And watching the games the last couple of nights, last few days, I still think Alabama is better than Tennessee. I think Tennessee is those weaknesses. Our buddy Ziegler last night one time, Barnes is rubbing his head. He didn't care for that shot by Ziegler. He is what he is at this point. He's going to make some plays for a team. He's going to make some mistakes and make some poor decisions along the way. Just expect him to mature this deep into his career is just asking for too much. But Tennessee and Ole Miss, you talk about different level stuff, man. Really, really good games last night in the SEC. But Florida is better than Alabama. I think Alabama is a little bit more dangerous in a tournament than Tennessee, but Florida and Auburn. And I think Florida has had a little sloppiness, when they give up 67% shooting for the first 25 minutes in Athens. Stuff like that, where they're trailing for the entire game till the final score at South Carolina. Auburn hasn't had those kind of mental lapses or there's exhale spots as much as Florida. But Florida, when they play in their best, and at Auburn, at Alabama, to sweep those two teams in that state this year is pretty damn impressive. They are capable of winning the whole thing. And I think more so than teams like Houston. I don't put Iowa State up there. I'm not sure. I don't think they can win it. So, anyway. Charlie, you beat the train?
I went around the train.
Well, you would have been still there because that train ain't moving.
Well, the reason that the train is not moving is the guy with the trailer tried to beat the train and got hit by the train.
Oh, okay.
Now, I didn't see any ambulances or anything like that, so I think this was a slow-moving train that hit this truck and trailer and pushed it about 40 yards. It looked like a Leonard Fournette dragging tacklers.
Looking for excitement? Chumba Casino is here. Play anytime, play anywhere. Play on the train, play at the store, play at home, play when you're bored. Play today for your chance to win and get daily bonuses when you log in. So what are you waiting for? Don't delay. Chumba Casino is free to play.
Experience social gameplay like never before. Go to Chumba Casino right now to play hundreds of games, including online slots, bingo, Slingo, and more. Live the Chumba life at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
For about 40 yards, and it's jammed things up for quite a ways. So that's
some really good. Okay, let's move on. It's the SEC last night, though. Just watching the other games, watching Maryland and Michigan. Maryland gets a win comfortably on the road in Chrysler, where Michigan's been so tough. But this is Oklahoma. There we go. The fourth bubble team. All four bubble teams, big wins. Big wins the last 2 days combined. It is really a threat now to get 14 in from the SEC. They take care of business. But watching those two games last night, Alabama and Florida, that was a high-level game. Watching Ole Miss and Tennessee, a high level. It was just so much better than the other stuff I had on Xavier and Butler and Maryland and Michigan and Texas Tech, Colorado.
I did watch a good bit of Wisconsin.
Marquette, UConn even. Much better stuff.
I did watch a good bit of Wisconsin and Minnesota because that was one of our picks. That if you bought the half a point, you ended up with a push there.
Boy, it pays. They are hitting.
How many
it pays
times
for itself and then some.
Colorado, I caught a touch of Colorado, see if they would get in there and cover, and they did. But the Ole Miss possession at the end with the game tied. This is where Tennessee is supposed to make their living. When you need a defensive stop, we're concerned about Tennessee's offense, right? When they need a defensive stop, Ole Miss has got the ball. Not only did they get a clean look, now it didn't go down, but they got an offensive rebound too, and that's where you would expect Tennessee to be able to make a stop. I don't know if I can count on Tennessee to get a bucket in that situation because when they go back on the other end. Millicent gets a good look. I mean, he's right at the goal, but it doesn't go down. But they couldn't get that stop. Not only did they give up a clean look, they gave up the putback that ended up being the winning points. Okay, that happens on the road.
Jamin Brakefield was the night of his life. I mean, it was senior night. He's a crowd favorite for really good reasons. I talked about that. Very mature approach on how he's sharing his NIL for a great cause. I mean, just a guy that, man, you want to promote. This is the good side of giving a college athlete, a little help financially. But he pounded the glass and he got the put back, and he was out of his mind last night. And yes, normally the Tennessee is a top 5 defensive team in the country. There's no doubt.
They are.
It's Tennessee. It's Houston. It's A&M is pretty good defense. Auburn is outstanding defensively. Florida can be when they're really dialed in. And so no, Tennessee is still the better team. You can prove that. It took this career performance. It took a bounce to fall near Brakefield to give him a chance, and a missed shot. And because Tennessee kind of had Ole Miss on the ropes for a big stretch of the game, but Brakefield just wasn't going to be. It was just his night. It was just his night. Normally 11 points a game, 19 on 8 of 9 shooting.
Right. And I don't disagree with anything that you said as far as the seeding in the SEC and all that. So my question is, what does the SEC tournament mean?
It doesn't. We talk about not wanting to play in football, but this particular year, it's been such a physical grind, and mentally. You saw Auburn. That wasn't Auburn 2 nights ago. They needed a mental rest.
Yeah.
They just needed to exhale and just say, it's almost, I'm wondering about the level of intensity about some of these teams that have their seeding. Because this selection committee showed us last year, Charlie, they don't really care what happens in the conference tournaments. They really de-emphasize that last weekend.
I think you're right. And so again, my question is going to be, somebody's got to win this thing, and whoever ends up winning it is probably going to have run off 3 Q1 wins in 3 days. That ain't nothing, okay? That's a haul. If Kentucky did that, or if Missouri did that, something like that. What does it exactly mean? But you're right about the de-emphasis on the tournament for most of these teams, because they're either locked in or what they could lose is not significant. Like what Kim Mulkey said about the women's tournament, say, hey, look, if we're a 3, we're a 3, whatever. Maybe if it was a 4 to 5, she'd feel differently, but if 2 to 3, hey, whatever. I'm going to rest my player. So somebody's got to win this thing, and I wonder what it means.
Bama could be a 3 now. They're good luck Saturday. Good luck.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. They exhaled. Auburn's ready for you on Saturday. They want to beat you as bad as they possibly can. But Florida set. I think Florida can lose on Saturday. Can lose at 1-10. They can go 0-2. I think they're set for their number 1 seed. Auburn's obviously set. They're the number 1 seed.
Sure.
They're number 1 seed. I think that Tennessee is set as a number 2. I don't really care, but Bama, I don't think they can get past a 3. So I mean, they might be set. That 2 and 3 is really not as big of a deal as it is the difference between a 1 and a 2 or a 3 and a 4. So the other teams, like, I think those are capable teams, like you talked about, like a Missouri, a Kentucky, that may have a little bit more, that may be a little bit more invested in this tournament than some others, because you saw last year who the 2 teams that went the furthest last year from the SEC. Well, Auburn, Alabama went to the Final Four.
Yeah, and
Tennessee was in the final against
Elite
Purdue.
8, yeah.
They both went one and done. One and out.
And you see, I had already forgotten that from the SEC tournament.
Well, that's the reason I bring it up.
Right.
I mean, I didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who I think it does mean something to. Oklahoma, huge win last night, and they absolutely had to have it. I'm not sitting as comfortable if they got 6 wins in the conference, and they got to beat Texas on Saturday to do that. I'm not going to the tournament with an invitation in my pocket. I can't go just lose one and done. And I kind of feel the same way if Oklahoma does beat Texas on Saturday and they go to the tournament 6-12. I'm not certain that either one of those teams is in if they lose their first game in the tournament. So it maybe means something to them. I think Georgia and Arkansas are in now. I think they could lose their first game and still be in, and everybody else has got plenty room to spare. But for Oklahoma and Texas, I think Saturday's game means something as far as comfort level of getting in. Oklahoma still got a little bit of work to do, I think. If they were to lose Saturday and lose the first game of the tournament, I think they could get left out.
Well, it's also how comfortably they won last night. I mean,
that helped. That helped.
Well, I mean, it just shows you that they knew what they were up against, and they were ready. They played really good against Kentucky in a game. They lost by 1, 84-83.
Yeah,
they took care of business. They showed some maturity, and I mean, it's just they had to have it. But now you're getting, a top 15 NET win. That helps. So
if they don't get in, it'll be LSU that costs them the bid. Because if you flip the results, the results of that game, which they should have won, they're in.
Yeah. Because their non-conference wins again are really good. Neutral site, away from home against St. John's, Arizona. Who's the other
Louisville.
one? At Louisville. Yeah. Don't forget, come on by and see us today. We are open air on the patio, enjoying this beautiful day here in the capital city, live at lunch, live at Los Reyes on Lee, just off of Nicholson. Come by and see the stationary train at the corner like Charlie did. We're right across from Mike Anderson's on a Thursday edition, live at lunch, live at Los Reyes, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Los Reyes Mexican Grill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Today's show also brought to you by Coastal Capital Advisors, your full-service financial advisors. So when you get to retirement, there's no two situations alike. No matter what portion of your life you're in, what your age or your financial situation, Coastal Capital Advisors will work with you and your business partners, tax professionals, and a legal team to make sure that all of your
How to have fun anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com.
Got it.
Step 2, collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3, play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4, unleash your excitement.
Woohoo!
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Retirement goals are achieved. Coastal Capital Advisors will work for you, and I know for sure because they work for me. For more information, contact Philip Fontenot and his staff, 337-981-1376, or online at coastalcapitaladv.com. Advisory services provided by New Age Advisors. Member FINRA SIPC. LSU baseball, an easy win last night against North Dakota State, 13-3, run rule after 7. William Schmidt, the most interesting part of this game, going 4 innings in his second start. He struck out 7 and walked 2. He also hit 3 guys. I say the most interesting part of the game because we're seeing, the hit batters were a little unnerving, but we're waiting to see what his role will be as it evolved. I think right this second he's one of LSU's best, say 5 or 6 pitchers. But will they choose? He threw 73 pitches last night, which means that he would probably be unavailable for at least the first 2 games of the weekend series. So I think this is probably the last time you're going to see him throw this many pitches in a midweek game. I'm not saying he's not going to start some other games, but I think they'll probably dial him back because Schmidt's a guy that they're going to need to use on the weekends. Maybe by the end of the season, he will be in a starting role on the weekend. I certainly wouldn't rule that out, but at least in the beginning part of SEC play, he's a bullpen arm that you want. We talked about a scenario yesterday where, what happens if your starter gets knocked out but you're still in the game? What if you're in a 4-4 or a 5-5 game in the third or the fourth inning? You're going to need some of these long guys, and Schmidt would work in very nicely in that spot to open Southeastern Conference play and see where it goes. So I would expect that his midweek performances from this point forward would be limited probably more to the 20 to 30 pitch range than the 73 through last night. Only gave up 2 hits and the 1 run. I guess the hit batters were the most glaring weakness there. Other than that, LSU unloaded on North Dakota State, 10 hits, 13 runs. They got a lot of players in. You see, put Jared Jones at third base last night, which wasn't something that was necessarily on my radar. Jones homered twice last night. Curiel was on base 3 more times, and pretty much everybody on the roster played. So this was one of those get out of there in 7 innings, get yourself ready for the weekend. One more weekend of non-conference play against, again, not a top-flight opponent, but SEC play will be here in about a week. So easy peasy for LSU last night. Nothing like the game they played the night before, which was really sloppy. Tigers didn't commit an error last night, and they run ruled it 13-3.
All right. Don't forget our friends at Legacy Title. Chad Reynolds, Legacy Title for all your real estate closings. 296-0060. Full-service title company servicing all of South Louisiana. Fast, friendly, professional services, which you get every time you call 296-0060. A great team. Ashley Donald, Mariana Haynes, Adrian Galata, Michael Platt. Buying, building, refinancing. Nobody choose but you. Choose Chad Reynolds and Legacy Title. Colucci 2-0 last week. Get him on the train. Get on the train, Colucci.
Get past the train. We'll take a break here live at Los Reyes. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Los Reyes Mexican Grill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And return here at Los Reyes. This is as good a setup as we can possibly have with the weather today. We've got the doors open here we got an enclosed patio and we got an open air patio. So you take your pick. You want to sit outside?
Covered patio.
That's what I said.
You said closed.
Enclosed. It's enclosed, but the doors are open.
Covered or out in the sun.
Come out and enjoy the damn nice weather, whether you want to sit under
Max, what's the over-under on 40 yards, the train?
Under. A lot. Sharp money has bought it.
Oh, yes, indeed. It's time!
Colucci time. Dwayne Colucci is back to give his best picks on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
He's not used to us calling us so early. That's right. We got Charlie in the train out the way. Charlie got hit by a train today, Colucci. But we got him here safely. But we got you 2-0, jammed up last week. We didn't want to jam. Take your time, sir. The floor is yours, King Colucci.
How did he get? Let's talk about the New Orleans Saints this week. That's what I'm looking to talk about. I want to know what's going on. I want to know who's going to be the starting quarterback. We need to know what Kellen Moore is going to do out there. You know, I'm here to please the masses. I'm here to please you guys at that route.
Speaking of a train wreck, huh?
You know I'm a bookmaker, so, you know, definitely. But Charlie got hit by a train. Got hurt, Charlie. But I hope you weren't leaning over in Manhattan.
No, somebody got hit by a train. It wasn't me. And Derek Carr and not very good on the Saints questions, and we can move from there.
Well, you know, the Saints, it's the same thing. Saints, Cowboys, who cares? I mean, you guys beat us by 40. That's good, but you know how the NFL is. The NFL is a business, and that's how it is. That's how it's always going to be. You should try being a bookmaker, guys. I try and then subscribe to all these television services that I have to supply my crowd with, from Netflix, Christmas Day, Peacock Plus, Amazon Prime, all these different companies, and it's a mind-boggling situation.
Well, I tell you what, with Netflix and what their stock has done after their little venture on Christmas Day and with the fight, the Tyson fight, there's going to be more of that coming. So that we're not done buying different stream outlets for sure. So anyway, yes. So remember Bump Phillips, Colucci?
Yes.
Remember him?
Yes.
So when Bump Phillips kind of, he was past his prime. He took the job at the Saints. There used to be bumper stickers, and it said faith, hope, and bum. So now the new stickers around the Crescent City, we saw them, I think Mayo was throwing them off the float in Crew of Toth or something. But anyway, faith, hope, and Loomis. So Mickey Loomis is our GM, who has his 32nd in salary cap held by a good chunk, and we're just running it back with him. So, but anyway, yes. Can we get some picks, would you, on your time? Not rush, not taken off the air, but get your picks because, well, 2-0 night, not bad last week.
Yeah, we did pretty well. We got those two nice games, the Montreal Canadiens, the Islanders. You know, I don't want to rub it in. I never do that, but I had about two more that also popped that night. So we had a monstrous night last Thursday. It was pretty good. I think Nashville was one of them, and there was another one in there. But, the hockey landscape now is starting to change all over again. What you have now players like Matthew Tkachuk being put on long-term IR, which frees up salary cap money. The cap money, if you put a player on long-term IR, now naturally you got to sit for like 2 weeks, 14 games, something like that. But you do free up the $8-9 million that this man is making in that period, and then you could go out and sign free agents. So this is an important period that's going on right now. You're seeing a few, faces change places. Nothing has been massively significant as of yet, but a lot of games tonight are just outrageous when you look at them on the spreads. I mean, Florida at the Rampart and South Point 3-1. We have the Tampa Bay Lightning 240. We have the Carolina Hurricanes 320, which is huge. I think they're anticipating Boston trading Brad Marchand, who was one of their top two players. You have the Dallas Stars at 260, Edmonton Oilers at 240. It's just the Avalanche 420. So I hate to disappoint tonight, but yeah, I mean it's almost a virtually unbettable card. Whereas last night, we had a great opportunity to capitalize on, and that's a play on words with the Washington Capitals nailing the New York Rangers, who are basically in a sell-off mode now after being one of the Eastern Conference favorites to win the Stanley Cup. So, a lot of happenings going on. I would probably look at the Flyers tonight at home, even though we know how good the Edmonton.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you want to get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
And Oilers are. The Winnipeg Jets are. I mean, they're the number one team in the NHL. Winnipeg right now, as in regards to a win-loss record. I mean, you're talking about a team that has 42 wins in 62 games. They have a 6-point lead as Dallas is starting to chip away, and the Jets have lost 3 in a row. So let's capitalize on that. Let's take the Philadelphia Flyers at home tonight, who definitely they want to win this game and try to, make some noise in the playoff drive. This is real close right now when you look at the Eastern Conference, when you're looking at this wild card opportunity. And that was a big loss for the Rangers last night, as Columbus now, shockingly, without Goudreau, the catastrophe that happened there, are now in 4th place in the Metropolitan Division. And here's another outlook. Keep your eye on the New Jersey Devils. Without Jack Hughes now, their number one player, shoulder surgery, out for the rest of the season. They already lost 2 in a row. They're going to start to free fall, and I think that teams like the Flyers, the Canadians, all these teams that are fighting, the Rangers that are fighting for this last playoff spot, are going to start to, perform at a higher level than the New Jersey Devils. So the Flyers definitely need this game tonight. We're looking at the Flyers at a plus at home.
120.
We're looking at plus 120. Yeah, correct, at the Rampart and South Point. That's definitely a nice opportunity. I mean, you look at this Columbus team. I mean, should Florida really, without Tkachuk, be laying 3-1 to Columbus, who we just said is in prime playoff position? I would take Columbus, even if you have to take a goal and a half tonight. Let's jump on that opportunity. Columbus has played so well this year. They're 30-23, guys, in 61 games, 68 points, 4 points behind the Devils to get into the top 3 of the Metro Division. The Rangers already lost last night, so they're not playing, so maybe Columbus could open up a 3-point lead there, and you have to go down to the New York Islanders, who have 63 points that are beneath them. Now you have the other teams hovering, Senators, Red Wings, and Canadians, like I said. So it's definitely going to be a race to the finish. It's a great race, and, this is what makes hockey so great, guys. You come to the playoff drive, there is not a more exciting sport than NHL hockey. And, here's getting back to this Florida-Columbus game. I mean, Sergei Bobrovsky, they're going to look to make a trade for a marquee goaltender, Florida, to back up Bobrovsky for the playoff drive because Spencer Knight is now gone. So, definitely this could be a lot of pressure on Bobrovsky, who's getting a little older. He's one of the older starting NHL goaltenders. I mean, granted, he has like 27 wins this year, which is monstrous, or 26 wins. But, let's keep an eye on his health as, the Maple Leafs just look horrible against the Knights last night, but they're tied in the Atlantic Division lead. So, I think that Columbus will make some noise tonight and win that game.
Okay, so Kaluch, let's our listeners can follow. Okay, we got Philadelphia plus 120, but then Columbus plus 1.5 is even money, but then the money line is plus 260. Would you split them up even? Let's say like 100 and 100, or would you put like 2-1, put maybe 100 on the puck line and 50 on the money line? How would you split it up? How would you advise?
Well, that game I would advise betting it both ways, probably an even split, because I really like this game. I like Columbus's chances. Yeah, I definitely think they have an excellent chance in this game just because of the current circumstances with the Florida roster. But don't get me wrong. I mean, Florida's going to come to play. They're the best team in the NHL and the reigning Stanley Cup champions. So, definitely I would split it up even. I would take a nice chance because you do get that even money and you're winning the game 1.5 to nothing.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
all right. Speaking of the Florida Panthers, the defending champions, speaking of Tkachuk, hurt in the tournament, out for the regular season, the rest of the regular season. Is this the fly in the ointment to continue this? I mean, if you're a Florida Panther season ticket holder, that's your team. I mean, You want you guys risking injury in this thing, and there's no way the NBA can kind of use this as an excuse not to try and play U.S. versus the world, huh, guys? So we'll see. But what's your thoughts on does this hurt the chances of running this thing back maybe in a couple of years? This sort of I forget what it was, the tournament that just happened for the All-Star weekend, the Four Nations.
Well, what happens with the NBA, Jimmy, is that they make so much money that the ownership could definitely, after an injury, just come in and say, look, you're not playing in the next All-Star game. And, you saw LeBron, he announced that he was sitting, so he's basically the face of the NBA, and he just chose to sit. So it's a lot different, whereas these guys are playing for country pride and they make a lot less money. But I do believe that the Florida Panther ownership, my dad grew up with one of the owners. They're from Long Island and the Brooklyn area. You have to step in and tell Kachuk, you got to calm it down a little bit. But this is an opportunity, like I said, because if the injury isn't that serious, you could pick up a free agent that's still going to be on your roster come playoff time and activate Kachuk. But not only Kachuk, look at what happened to Theodore. He's one of our marquee free agent signings here in Las Vegas, and he broke his wrist. So several of these guys got banged up and injured, and you want to keep your eye on how hard these guys continue to play during a tournament of this magnitude. And, if I'm the ownership, Jimmy, I'm going to come in, I'm going to sit down Kachuk, I'm going to tell him, look, we know all about the U.S. pride, what was going on with Canada, the embargoes, all this. You want to make a statement. They're booing our national anthem. But you also have to consider we're the defending Stanley Cup champions. You play in the NHL, and this is a tournament formatted by the NHL. So, you have to take into consideration where your bread and butter comes from. Definitely, Jimmy. You don't want all these marquee superstars going down. God forbid it starts to swell out to where you're seeing guys like McDavid go down and, Nate McKinnon. Then it becomes really, really a factor. And not that Kachuk ain't a top 5 player in the NHL, but hopefully his injury will subside coming into the playoffs, and he will be, at top peak condition. But still, you're going to probably fall and could possibly lose a home ice advantage, which is huge when you're dealing in the playoffs in the NHL.
Max, is this hurt their chances running this thing back in maybe a couple of years? It was wildly popular.
Of course it hurts it, but maybe Colucci could correct me on this. I had heard that maybe this is, as the Four Nations, this will be the only rendition of it, that they've kind of already planned out that there's going to be some other tournaments.
Yeah.
And they'll expand it, but it hurts. I don't know that we'll see a Four Nations, but it definitely hurts this kind of concept.
But it's the same thing, playing for the countries. I mean, they're going to just add some countries.
It'll hurt the product, I would imagine, Colucci.
I mean, no, he just talked about it.
I don't think it hurts the product at all. I think it brought, so many people were paying attention that it definitely brought the NHL back. I mean, if you think about the start of the season, everybody was complaining how NBA and NHL viewership was way, way down. Bettman wasn't doing a good job. People were actually entertaining WNBA viewership to compare to the NBA and NHL, which is just out of the realm. But the NHL then puts this Four Nations product out there, and all of a sudden the viewership is incredible. And if you add a couple of more countries, like Jimmy said, it's off the hook. So I think it actually was good for the NHL, and it looked at things in a different limelight, and it put them on the top of the All-Stars games, that whether it's NHL, NFL is garbage, and the MLB. So, I think it definitely did a good thing for the NHL and brought in tons of revenue, not that Montreal and Boston need it. But if you start to spread this out and have maybe some of the tournament on the West Coast, Vancouver, possibly Las Vegas, LA, it'll be monstrous.
Colucci, we're running up against the brick a little bit, but get us updated. March Madness just around the corner. Did Chris Andrews, do you guys still have that prop up, SEC versus the field? Is that give us an update?
I believe he took it down at the start of this week, but it'll be back up before the conference tournaments. I know that for a fact. And we'll definitely be running the 105 Big Special like we always do during the course of the tournament. And at the Rampart, we're going to have the bad beat drawings. Anytime a lower seed for those first 4 days beats a higher seed, we draw for $100 in free slot play. All you need is a rewards card at the Rampart. And, yeah, we got a lot going on. It's going to be off the hook. We're getting real.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Really excited. Possibly some jackpot cards for those first 2 days. You know, that's a huge success. $5 per card, no point spread. But we got so much going on. We're really anticipating conference tournaments. You saw Auburn, they came back down to earth after that loss the other night. So it's still wide open, guys. Alabama's playing good. Vandy's playing good. Tennessee's playing good. It's funny how I'm talking about all you SEC guys except LSU.
Don't get it started. $100 free play. Charlie, that's got Charlie Hannegriff written all over it. Give him a couple days. He'll jump on a train. He'll be there by next Wednesday or something, huh?
Love it, and it looks great there. I'm looking 60 minutes till race 1 at the fabulous fairgrounds. So yeah, definitely looking good this weekend, and looking for exciting horse racing that leads into March Madness. You know how I am with the horse racing. It's just off the hook here at the Rampart.
All right, Kaluch, follow Dwayne at NYBookie Dwayne at NYBookie Dwayne. It's time, Kaluch.
Let's do it.
Charlie, huh?
Charlie's quiet today.
I got fussed at for fussing last week, so I'm not fussing with anybody.
You'll be revved up next Thursday. So I'll go 0-2. I know it, Daddy. You're the man.
You know when you spread your feathers, the gambling gods frown upon that. You know that,
They
huh? We know how that goes. Thank you, Kaluch.
Yes.
Great stuff as always. We'll talk to you next week.
Love you guys. Talk to you next week. Say
Yes,
hi to everybody.
indeed. My man Kalucha from the Rampart. Of course, the Rampart, one side of the strip, the South Point on the other side of the strip. Guys like Jimmy Vaccaro, Chris Andrews, Vinny Maiulo, veteran, old-school bookmakers still doing it their own way. We did see some our friends at the Queen still have it up, and so SEC versus the field. It started off the field was minus 40 or 50. It got down to basically a straight pick 'em. Now it's shifted back to, at the Queen, you have to lay 40 if you take the field. If you take the SEC, it's plus 110. And then the other one is Duke and Auburn versus the field. The more I think about that, I'm not so sure about that. I mean, I would be more inclined to take the field on that one.
How many teams do you think outside of the SEC could realistically win the national title? Duke and Houston can.
I don't think Houston can.
Okay, well then you're throwing out the second biggest favorite outside of the SEC. The next three are Iowa State, St. John's, and Michigan State.
St. John's can. Michigan State can. I don't think Iowa State can.
I thought Iowa State could earlier in the year. I don't now. And then the next best team is Texas Tech, who is playing really well.
I think Texas Tech can.
Yeah, I do too. If I had to take a flyer on one of those teams besides St. John's, Texas Tech would be where I would go. Yeah.
Little nugget here, Jimmy.
What?
So it's plus 110 to take the SEC with our friends at Bet Rivers over at the Queen, right? Plus 110.
For Bet Rivers or the Queen?
SEC.
I mean,
the Queen, plus 110 on the SEC.
Plus 110, okay.
Our friends at Bet Rivers has the field at plus 110.
Oh, really?
Either side.
But the products of variance, huh?
A lot of variance there.
Yeah.
So they've got the SEC as the heavy favorites. Or not heavy, but,
But
marginal.
Yeah. What does Bet Rivers have?
Minus 143.
Oh, so basically, yeah.
So they have
140.
flipped.
Yeah, completely flipped. Wow. There you go. Take both plus prices.
Guaranteed a winner.
There you go. Charlie, see how that works?
You have my attention. It pays to shop, right?
Look, when you cross the train, we stop at all train stops. You look both ways, Charlie, before you cross the track.
Left, right, and then left again.
Just in case my mother is listening to this show today, I did not get hit by the train, okay? Somebody else got hit by the train. Mom listens from time to time. She's going to go.
She does not have that in her playbook, okay?
No.
She did not ask Charlie to try and beat the train. That is not in her playbook. No. I know that. I love her playbook. Why do they always run in the middle, Charlie? Why do they always do it? Josie's playbook is wide open, baby. It's analytic-driven.
Yes.
Love it. Love it. Don't forget our friends at Relief Windows, and reliefwindows.com. Windows, doors, siding, shutters. Wood windows. If your homeowners association requires wood windows, we're proud to be the premier Geldwin wood window company here in the area. Wood windows combine the beauty of real wood, high-tech energy efficiency, features for all climate zones, all weather conditions, from the heat in the summer here in South Louisiana to the snow. Built using R-Last wood, Geldwin windows come with a 20-year general warranty and a lifetime limited warranty against rot and termites, providing years of beauty and minimal maintenance. Do like I did. Call Relief Windows, 230-5652, Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com.
Live at Los Reyes, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Los Reyes Mexican Grill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
The one-of-a-kind autographed card that Paul Skeens put out that was won by a kid out in California is going up for auction. Do you see his odds opened up? He is opened as the strong favorite to win the National League Cy Young. What did we get him at last year?
125, 140 to 1.
Yeah, he's plus 300.
I know.
This year. Not quite. Not
he
quite.
Added a sinker. A cutter and a two-seamer this year.
Yeah, because he needed more help.
Yes,
yeah, for sure. Hour number 2, straight ahead from Los Reyes, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Los Reyes Mexican Grill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Yes, indeed. Open air edition. What a beautiful day here in the capital city, taking advantage of the great weather got over here. We're in the covered patio. You can sit out in the sun. Plenty of seating available as well. Watching Keegan Bradley tied for the lead down in the Orlando area at Bay Hills. So the wind is supposed to be dying down a little bit, so favoring the afternoon crew. So anyway, great, a good start to the golf tournament. Who's our 4 picks again? We had 3 of them, Max. Zalatoris.
Zalatoris, Hovland, and Fleetwood.
Ooh.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lowry was not. Zalatoris was not. Lowry, Fleetwood, Hovland.
All right, Scheffler's in a little trouble here on 14. He's 1 under, so he's about to give a stroke back on this one. And, yes, he's going to bogey that hole to go to even par. Let's go to Las Vegas VSiN's Matt Humans joins us right now. Matt, how you doing?
Well, I feel like I'm listening to Jim Nance call the Masters.
Hello, friends.
Hello, friends. Come and join me on the Lanai at my home here in Carmel. So anyway, hey, I got to ask you what Charlie asked me. Who outside of the SEC has a chance to win it all in the NCAA basketball tournament?
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious that Duke and Houston are going to be your first 2 answers to that. And then I don't think any team out of the Big Ten has really got a shot. And then you go to the Big East, I would say St. John's maybe has a shot, and that's about it. I don't think there are a bunch of teams outside the SEC that can win it. I would go Duke, Houston, St. John's be my first 3 answers. And maybe there's a team that's going to shock a lot of people otherwise, but I don't know who that would be right now.
I have a little bit different. I kind of give Michigan State a little bit of a shot. I can't get there with Houston, Matt. I see what their stats tell me differently. My eyes tell me no, same old stuff. I mean, they're really ugly on offense sometimes, and they go to. I know the metrics are better. I just don't see it. I see the same old thing that they go through these ugly stretches, and I mean somebody's going to get hot against them at some times. I don't have them up there. I do have St. John's in there though.
I'm not a Houston fan. Believe me, I don't. If you ever listen to VSiN or watch it, I've never bought into Houston on futures in the last 5 years. I've never once played a Houston future. And
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you want to get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
didn't this year either. But I think Houston's got a better shot than Michigan State, I would say, because the Spartans shoot the three at 29%, and Houston shoots the three much better. I watch a lot of Big Ten basketball. Michigan State's 31st in offense in Kim Palm, and Houston's 10, believe it or not. In defense, Michigan State 5, Houston number 3. Those numbers will tell you Houston's better offensive team. And that's what I see when I watch it, just a Houston team that shoots the three better than Michigan State. I'm not sure you can win 4 games in a row and get to the Final Four and then close it out. The way basketball is played now, shooting a three at 29%, and I think that's the biggest problem with Michigan State.
Yeah, I like Richardson. I think he's a nice, I think he's legit. I wish they would kind of showcase him a little bit more because, he's the guy that go get a bucket. And look, and Cryer, I thought the Iowa State game, he was really good. I mean, he made all kinds of shots at every different place in the field, but they kind of lean on him a little too heavily. So we'll see. In the SEC,
what did you guys come up with aside from Michigan State, Houston, Duke, St. John's? Did you come up with any other teams?
We came up with, if you want to take a flyer on Texas Tech.
Texas
who's playing
Tech
pretty well right now. That's about the best I can do outside of your list. I'm kind of split the difference on you two guys with Houston. I don't expect that they're going to flop. I think they're going to be a very hard out. He's not gone to the tournament with this current group of Houston and completely thrown up on themselves. They've made the second weekend every year, but somewhere they run into somebody that's just offensively so charged that they can't get around it. So I think they could win it, but it would take some breaks. It would take sort of like a scheduling advantage for them where they don't have to play somebody that's just got all of 5. They lost to Alabama and Auburn by 5 points each. So they're right there. Now, that's back in November, but they're right there with them.
To lose to Auburn is one thing. It's at Alabama. Alabama's not as good as Auburn. And
they lost to both of them by the same 5 points. So they can play with those teams. I don't think they will win it, but I can't say that they absolutely should be ruled out.
Now, look, I mean, I thought their best team was 2 years ago. And Miami scored, 89 points in that game? I mean, how do you score 89 against that Houston defense? I just don't think I think they're a little bit better on offense. I don't think they're quite as good on defense. I agree with you, Charlie. They're hard out, but they're also the chances are they're probably going to run into somebody that has having a good shooting night, and it's going to be tougher.
They probably end up as an Elite 8 team. If
I
had to pick out
Elite 8 or Final Four even, but I can't. I don't see what I know what the numbers say, Matt, and I just don't see it. I don't know. So anyway,
I'm not gonna sit here and argue for Houston. Like you said, I don't buy. I'm hosting a show with a guy who's got a Houston future, and he talks about them all the time, and I don't like Houston at all. Like I said, I don't have anything on Houston, so I'm with you in that respect. But if you're looking at teams that are going to get a good seed and a path to the national championship, Houston's going to have a pretty good chance to get there. I'm a Big Ten guy, and I watch a lot of those games. Michigan State just doesn't do it for me. I mean, think about when you look at the regions, is any team going to fear playing Michigan State? Hell no. Yeah. I think that's a team you feel like you could knock off in the first round. Is any team going to fear Houston? I don't think you want to play them because of their style and how physical they are. It's a tough matchup. I don't think you fear Houston. You feel like that's a team you could knock off too. I heard Rick Pitino say the other day, he said, this team, talking about his team, could lose in the first round or win the whole thing. And I think that's true for a lot of teams that are going to be in this tournament, aside from Duke and Auburn and Florida, right?
I agree. I in the same sense, I'm kind of losing track of my third team from the SEC to have a chance. Auburn and Florida, for sure. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, they're complete. You know, I mean, if they played Alabama, if Florida played Alabama neutral site like 10 times, they're gonna beat them 8 or 9. I mean, Alabama just have to shoot so good to beat them. I mean, and guys, the kid Condon, man, he he likes the big stage. He had a great game last night and great game against Auburn. You know, singling. You know, Jedi Broome, and you know they're just a complete team. But Tennessee can't win it. I don't think so, and I'm starting to lose faith in Alabama's chances of winning it all as well. So I'm only going too deep in the SEC.
You know, Alabama is Kim Palm. Now, this is not the Bible, but when you look at teams' defensive rating, you say they get enough defensively to do it. Alabama's at 39 defensively. Typically, that's not good enough. And I'm with you. I was a big Alabama booster. In fact, I've got tickets on Alabama 20-1 to win the whole thing. I was pretty optimistic. The more I watch him, the less I like him now. And another team a lot of people like to hype up as dark horse is Missouri. But look at Missouri's defensive performance last night against Oklahoma, and Missouri's 59, actually 69 on defense in Ken Palm. So that would tell you that Missouri's going to be an upset candidate as well. So you know what? It's interesting, too, because when you look at the SEC, outside of it's so good top to bottom, one of the best conferences I've ever seen, obviously. But outside of Auburn, Florida, Tennessee, Alabama, those four, and I'm not crazy about Alabama and Tennessee right now, I don't see any of those other teams making a really deep run like to the Elite Eight or Final Four, do you?
No. I think with the right break, you know, the teams that you mentioned, I only think that two can win it all. But I'll tell you what, though, the four bubble teams, you know, the 11 through 14 trying to get in the tournament, they all had big wins the last 2 nights. I mean, they all, you know, so they are making it a run. This whole thing. The thing that we're interested in, Matt, weigh in on. I'm going to go against these teams that have their seeding set for the SEC in a tournament next week. Auburn, Florida, Alabama, and Tennessee. The rest of them, I think, will have a little bit more juice for this tournament. The 2 teams that went the furthest last year were one and done last year, and I mean, it's been a little bit of a grind. If you want to know how much of maybe a grind, check out that Auburn team that played in College Station a couple of nights ago. They were due for a little bit of a break, mentally and physically. Sure. They'll be ready to go. They're going to beat Bama as bad as they can on Saturday. But, man, that wasn't close to the normal team that's hit the floor this year for Auburn.
Yeah, and I feel like a spot where Auburn can be a little bit flat, right? Because off a big win, you clinch the SEC regular season championship, and then you got Alabama on deck to finish it, and a bunch of bigger games coming up. And A&M had lost 4 in a row. You talk about a hungry home underdog. A&M was hungry that night to stop that losing streak. And you could tell pretty early that Auburn did not bring anything close to its A game. You know, last night I was on Mississippi against Tennessee because I thought Vols were in a great fade spot, too, off that miraculous win against Alabama. That was a complete meltdown by the Crimson Tide. I mean, that was inexcusable how Alabama lost that game at Tennessee. So Vols stole it. They go on the road. Chris Beard needs a win. I thought that was a great spot for Ole Miss, but, man, that was a tough one to get. And for a long time, it didn't look good. I didn't feel good about that Ole Miss bet last night. And, you know, that's a Mississippi team that's not very good defensively either. As much as I like Chris Beard, I really can't see that team making much of a run in the tournament.
Well, all it took is your senior who averages 11 to get 19 on 8 of 9 shooting and a offensive rebound putback for the game winner. Yeah. That's all. I mean, so, Charlie.
Is there a team, we've talked about all the favorites, okay? Is there a team out there, every year we see this double-digit or close to it seed make the second weekend and scare the hell out of somebody? Who's the biggest underachiever? Sure. Who's the biggest underachiever out there? I'm looking at teams like Kansas, Baylor, Illinois, maybe on the right day, although they're just
we're talking about Houston,
Kansas.
That was a joke in Lawrence, closing out the game. Okay, all right. I mean, they should have split in both games.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you want to get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Were very tight. Everybody's got Houston as a number 1 seed. Probably about Houston too. They played Iowa State when they were down 31 points. They played Texas Tech when they were down 30 points. In those 2 games about a week ago. But Kansas is. They looked good the other night in a loss at Houston.
That's what I'm saying. The underachievers, these guys have got enough talent. Baylor, Kansas, maybe Illinois on the right day.
I don't like the way Baylor plays defense.
Well, none of these teams are playing to their capabilities. I'm talking about, for instance, you can get 15-1 right now in Illinois to make the Final Four. Okay, that's a bomb, but they've got enough talent.
I hear how everybody said, Matt, you think they're that talented? Everybody, when they talk about Illinois, man, they're ultra talented. They're ultra talented.
I don't. In fact, I haven't liked this Illinois team. I was stunned when Illinois beat Oregon 109-77 on the road, and I said, holy hell, I must have really underestimated this Illinois team. A lot better than I thought. Since then, Illinois has come back to earth and been a lot more the team I expected the Illini to be. So, no, I don't really hold Illinois in high regard either. I know some that do. Most don't. But I understand what you guys are getting at. We're trying to search for a team that's we're saying, man, I should have seen that. That team's got the talent. Maybe that team could have been a surprise in the tournament. I'm going through, looking here, trying to find some teams that have been a little disappointing that can make a run. How about UConn? I think that might be one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, UConn, Oregon, UCLA. Some other teams under the radar that maybe have a chance to be surprise teams would be like Clemson, St. Mary's. How about BYU?
BYU is where I was going.
BYU is the hottest team in the country.
Yeah, you're still getting 15-1 on them to make the Final Four. Now, does this continue for 3 more weeks? I don't know.
Seven in a row. I'm willing to lay the projected 13 on Saturday against Utah. Utah beat them at Salt Lake City by a point, and you win at Iowa State. You win.
They beat Kansas. They beat
Arizona and Iowa State. In the 7-game streak, they're averaging 85 points a game on this 7-game win streak. No, they're hot, man, and they want to smash the Holy War friends from Salt Lake City, man. So
they're almost road proof at this point. It's not just teams going into Provo. They have won. Iowa State's only lost twice at home all year. BYU got them one. The other one was at fluke against Kansas State.
What do you think about Clemson? Because I thought P.J. Hall was a big loss, but the one thing they have, they're an older roster, and so I thought there was going to be a big drop off because Hall he was their most talented piece, but they just or is it just a product of the ACC?
Well, you hear so many times people say the ACC is terrible. And that's not necessarily true. Now, the ACC is not very good in the bottom half. In fact, there are a lot of teams who are really terrible in the bottom half, but at the top, Duke is damn good, and Duke has been destroying teams. So it's not like Duke's record is propped up playing a bunch of cupcakes in the SEC, because Duke's not just barely winning the games. Duke's winning the games by 30. And we know that Duke's legit because Blue Devils beat Auburn, even though the officials helped them out in that game in November. I would say that game might have been early December, whatever it was. I know that was a game where Duke definitely got some home court officiating to help them out. But Duke, Clemson, and Louisville out of the ACC are all 3 legit teams. Clemson, like you said, veteran team, finally got over the hump in the tournament last year. Brad Brownell's a really good coach. And as you mentioned, you got veterans who got you there before. In Louisville, Pat Kelsey's done a hell of a job. Chucky Hepburn, a transfer from Wisconsin, running a point. That's a team nobody, not many people are really talking about. The Louisville Cardinals, and maybe could be a surprise team. Even though I don't love Louisville, you look at a team that's 24-6 with a good coach, has got top 30 metrics in offense and defense. Not really getting much hype.
How about Hepburn, man? Like the 7-minute mark to the 2-minute mark of the first half, 6 straight threes. I mean, he didn't attempt a three before that point. He didn't attempt one after, but all 6, pop. I mean, it was crazy, man. So it was good stuff. You got anything on this golf tournament, Matt?
I tell you what, I got 2 small college basketball plays tonight on the Big West. This is a rough card. Rough card tonight. I know Wes Reynolds really likes Iowa as a home dog against Michigan State. Taking 7.5, I think, is best number at DraftKings. Wes's angle on this game tonight, I tend to agree with him. We were talking about it on the show last night. This is probably going to be the end for Fran McCaffrey at Iowa. And if that's the case, you got to think his team's going to give a big effort tonight. Michigan State's got Michigan on deck and has already clinched a share of the Big Ten championship. Might be a spot for the home dog there. I played a couple in the Big West. I played UC Davis as a home dog. 7.5 was the number overnight. I think it's 7 now. UC Davis is a home dog against Irvine. And also T.Y. Johnson is a stud for UC Davis. Not many people would know that. Hawaii and Cal State Bakersfield are playing to get in to be eligible for the Big West tournament. I played Bakersfield as a 1-point home favorite overnight. I don't like much about this Hawaii team. As far as the golf tournament, I played Rory top 10 at -115. I played Ludwig Oberg top 10 at +170. Shane Lowry top 10 at +350, and Lowry to win at 42-1. I also played Oberg to win at 15-1. Scotty Scheffler top 5 at -125. I didn't want Scheffler to ruin my weekend by winning the tournament, and I had nothing on him. So I played him at a top 5 at -125. He's won 2 of the last 3 times. I mean, there's a bunch of players I can make a case for this week. Colin Morikawa. You go down the list, some long shots I wanted to play, but I'm not going to spray a bunch of long shots all over the board and then watch Scheffler or McIlroy win the tournament, right?
Yeah. Well, I think Lowry's going to benefit today from the wind dying down compared to Aubert and Scheffler. So they were dealing with it today. And still, Aubert was he was close a lot of times, but man, it was pretty windy when he was playing his round. Great stuff as always, Matt. Man, Michigan. Usually, I'm in Vegas for championship week, but can't make it this year. But what a fun time, man, to be in Las Vegas for championship week. Going to be a lot of fun next week as well. Good luck to you, Matt. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay, you bet. Thanks.
All right, we'll take. Don't forget our friends over at Total Maintenance. One of South Louisiana's oldest and largest AC and heating companies since 1980. Looks great. Oh, Aubert just missed a 3-footer. Ooh, that's a bogey. So he gives up a stroke. He's +1 now. Total Maintenance again. Great weather, right? Man, open up the heat. Not stressing the unit out. Now's the time, though, to schedule your one-time AC visit. You clean it, make sure that it's running at its optimum, lower monthly bills, going to extend the lifetime of your unit. If you got a part that looks like, oh, man, this thing may be failing, we're going to replace it for you, no problem for it. It's going to sit. So lower monthly bills, extend the lifetime of your unit, and also you're going to avoid a more costly repair in the summer months when you need it that much more. Normally $179 for this AC check. It's just $79 if you mention that you heard it right here, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. That's right. Mention me, Charlie, Max, whoever. Mention Ludwig Gobert and get $79 for your AC visit. Again, just one time. 480-1000. 480-1000. Total Maintenance.
Live at Los Reyes. Live at lunch. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Los Reyes Mexican Grill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Remember, the show's available on demand, LouisianaSports.net, 104.5ESPN.com. Current version of the Hannycast is up. We've added Doug Thompson to our podcast, so we're excited about having Doug with the LSU baseball stuff for the Hannycast that's on YouTube right now. We're less than a week away from the start of the new league year. A lot of movement in the last couple of days. Is the number of free agent wide receivers that are on the market. Jimmy, and we're not talking about the Saints, okay?
We just messing with you, Charles.
No, but we're not talking about the Saints, because I actually saw this. Should the Saints go after Devontae Adams? No,
they're one piece away from a declining receiver.
This is like asking, should we, buy a lottery ticket and use it as our investment portfolio? No, okay. But if you are a team,
LSU's one piece away from challenging.
Yeah. If you are on the market, and the Steelers, for instance, have been in the market for a receiver for a long time, the Bills could use. When we're talking about teams that fancy themselves as contenders, Washington just made a move for Deebo Samuel. The number of veteran receivers on the market, I just want to know if you like any of these guys, okay? I know how you feel about Adams.
They're kind of all lumped together, huh?
Stephon Diggs, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Brandon Cooks, DeAndre Hopkins. They're all about the same age. They all had extremely productive careers. They are all past their prime.
Right.
But it's not like they could not be a contributor. These guys were all number one receivers that, for good chunks of their career, and no longer are. They can help somebody that has a number one receiver.
How about Amari Cooper with Joe Flacco, huh? 2 seasons ago.
Yes.
He went nuts.
Right.
He went nuts. The guy who's as big of a pain in the ass as any of them, but I think that his production was cut short strictly because of injury. And I got to give Diggs another chance. I mean, when he got hurt how many games in with Houston?
About 5, I think. It was late September, early October.
But, in much of a headache as he is, which is common for the position, he's still productive, man. Now, he had Josh Allen throwing to him for a big deal, but, because
it was 8 games. I didn't realize he made it that far.
What did he have, about 500 yards?
And for part of that, Nico Collins was hurt, where he was getting a few more balls at that point, and then Collins came back later in the season. How does he going to recover?
500.
Yeah, but so he's on pace for a 1,000-yard season. He's had better, but he is a new, and his quarterback had a sophomore slump this year. There's no doubt about that.
All right, let me go a little bit younger.
But I'll tell you that Keenan Allen, he lives hurt. Yeah, and he's way too bad. That guy,
and he's 33 years old.
Yeah, and that was no. No.
You want to go a little bit younger? Would you take a shot with one of these two guys, Chris Godwin, who was hurt in Tampa but has been a productive guy, or Christian Kirk, who just got released from Jacksonville, probably mostly because of salary cap? You can have one of those guys.
Oh, Godwin, that was dumb, huh?
At the point in the game in which he got hurt and lost his season, yes.
Monday night, even Joe Buck, give him credit. At what point do you cut your losses and pack it in?
Right.
Right. And he sure got hurt like a few plays later.
And he was a productive guy.
I like Godwin.
He's a very good player.
Godwin.
If the injury checks out, yeah. Or
ACL, right?
Yeah.
Or was it?
I thought it was an ACL and
is it multiple?
I thought it was.
Geez.
It was ugly.
He might not be back for this year.
They wouldn't show it. Those are bad signs. Or you can take a shot with two guys on the trade market. If you want to spend big capital, first and a third is what they're asking, you can get DK Metcalf out of Seattle. I forgot to include Tyler Lockett on that group. Or you can probably have Cooper Kupp for a mid-round pick.
No, Metcalf by far is the most capable out of all them
and
guys.
He's the most expensive.
He's probably the most still in his prime.
Yes.
I don't think it's him. Again, you just like what he just shows up sometimes. Sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes they forget him. Sometimes they double him, so they try to take him out. They scheme him out. But man, he's still got a lot of juice left in the tank compared to all these declining.
He's the best name I've brought up, but he's also by far the most expensive. It's a 1 and a 3 to get him out of there, and then he wants a contract extension for $30 million a year.
So why
for
has he
probably
been
at least
so
4
inconsistent, in your opinion?
The quarterback.
That's fair.
Gino's been up and down. He's been way better than we thought he would be out there, but he's been up and down.
Because sometimes even no matter what the coverage is, you just got to throw that ball up to him, man.
Yeah. And he's
such
a physical guy. Would you rather have him to pay?
Who's more physical than him?
Not very many. Or would you rather have Cooper Kupp, who you can get for way cheaper?
I think Kupp is done. I think Kupp is a secondary piece at best. I don't
think any of these guys except Metcalf are a
no,
one.
but Charlie,
anymore.
The Rams, man, for the Rams, that's a strong sign for them to kind of, okay, you got to move on. I mean, that guy, he was so good, and I mean, he just isn't. And you watch him play. I mean, he got a few yards against New England. New England, that game, that was terrible. They had guys wide open in that game.
He's still being paid as a number one receiver. He no longer is in Los Angeles. That's Puka Nacua there. So, and they've got other receivers, so they can afford to move him along. I think he still helps somebody, but he's not a number one anymore. There's just this huge list of former number ones. Don't pay him like a number one. If you can bring him in as a 2 or even better as a 3, there's some affordability in there.
Yeah, no.
Don't pay Devontae Adams $13 million, which is what the rumor is. If anybody gives him $13 million a year,
we kind of disagreed on him when they were brought him in. I was like, man, that's. I know one thing, though, is pretty damn obvious, and people that cover in the league, they're all on the same page as consistent reporting. Finally, Aaron Rodgers' crap is caught up with him.
Yes, you are.
Finally,
production no longer justifies all the stuff that comes with you.
I mean, just.
I could bring in Russell Wilson to put up those numbers, and it's less of a pain in the butt. And whoever would have said that.
He had to have a better year than Wilson, huh? Did he? His numbers weren't terrible.
Wilson's numbers weren't awful. He didn't play the whole season. I mean,
you think that had come?
They were okay. I thought those guys were okay.
The Wilson thing, it just kind of. The funny thing is, Charlie, they flip flopped. Rodgers was really mediocre at best, and then he kind of finished a little bit stronger statistically.
The last 6 games,
Wilson hit a wall with like about 6 or 7 games ago, and they saw they couldn't do anything. Remember, we're like, oh man, Wilson's back at it, and they're like, oh no. The last 5 or 6 games, like, we can't run this guy back again.
Wilson played 6 more games, 1,100 yards. Devontae Adams, 854. But 6 more games.
Wait, Wilson played
17 games. Adams played 11.
No, we're talking about.
No, we're talking about
Rodgers
versus Russell Wilson.
Adams plays wide receiver.
We're talking about Adams. I got that.
And Rodgers plays quarterback. Get your head out of Big Hill, man.
Rodgers played better on the back end of the year.
No, we know that. Yeah. But overall,
Rodgers averaged 4 more yards a game than Wilson.
Okay, yards per attempt.
6.7 for Rodgers and 7.4 for Wilson.
Okay, and TD's interception ratio.
16 to 5 for Wilson and 28 to 11 for Rodgers. But he plays But he plays 6 more games. Wilson missed at the beginning. Per game, the numbers are pretty comparable.
28 TDs for the Jets, not bad.
Rodgers played
I think he was like
lot
third
more.
all time in terms of a single season yardage for a Jets quarterback.
To take a time out, we're live here at Los Reyes. Got the garage doors open. You can sit in a covered patio. You can sit out in the sun, whatever you want. Watch a little spring training baseball. Yankees facility, huh? That's where the Rays are playing this year, I believe.
At the Hall of Fame Stadium. Is that still what they call it?
Yes, indeed. That's what it is. So come on by and see. We've got a great, all the traditional Mexican items. I mean, great guacamole. Fajitas are outstanding. You get fresh fish if you want, all over here at Los Reyes Mexican Grill. On Lee, just off of Nicholson across from Mike Anderson's. Live at lunch, live at Los Reyes, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Sammy's Grill on Highland Road since 1988, a hometown favorite for tailgating and watching LSU games in a casual atmosphere with the friendliest service. Right now, we're boiling crawfish 7 days a week, Monday through Friday. First batch comes out at 5 p.m., weekends at noon. Sammy serves a wide mix of authentic Louisiana food prepared to order with the best ingredients available. Fresh Louisiana seafood, Cajun favorites, burgers and po' boys, all built from scratch. Our kids' menu and popular appetizers are sure to please the pickiest of eaters. Sammy's Grill on Highland Road, near Starring since 1988.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Los Reyes Mexican Grill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
To Las Vegas, Kenny White joins us right now. Kenny, how you doing, my brother?
Hey, Jimmy, doing well. Exciting day for me. Kind of my first women's college basketball conference tournament day.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Do you have any picks that you have for today's card?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Let's see what hasn't started here yet. Arizona goes in about an hour. I like them. -1.5. I like Washington. I won with them again yesterday, so the Huskies are getting 4.5 playing Michigan.
Okay.
That Arizona was -1.5 playing Colorado. Looks like Virginia again. I've been on Virginia quite a bit, +7.5. There's 3 of them for you.
Nice.
Arizona, Washington, and Virginia.
Nice. Hey, Kenny, let's put your old bookmaker's hat, your odds maker hat back on, and tell us how much is it baked into the line for a team that's on the bubble. Now, I compare it to, because we see the difference from, like in the NFL, when a team, quote unquote, has to win or is in contention playing for a playoff spot, playing against somebody that's not. That's kind of out of it, or possibly resting players. But how much of it is for the Oklahomas of the world, the Texas of the world? I mean, some of the Nebraska, some teams on the bubble, do they weigh that in when they're setting these lines for conference tournament week?
Yeah, that's a great question that we used to do. I'm just going to go back to Las Vegas Sports Consultants, where I had a staff of 12 odds makers, and we probably had 5 guys that loved college basketball. If they didn't love it as much, I probably would have only had 3 guys making college basketball lines. But we had 6 in the NFL. 6 of the 12 guys made NFL lines, and that was the biggest sport. But college football, I think, only had 4. But college basketball is a sport that everybody loves. So we had 5 guys making numbers. And when we made that number, we would talk about it that, hey, this team's on a bubble, that team's on a bubble. This is a must-win for – to get into the conference tournament. We would only add a point. That was it. We would add 1 point to it. I think for a bookmaker, that's the right move, because you could probably get two-way action from that. As a bettor on the other side of the counter, Jimmy, I think it's worth 2.5 points.
Gotcha. Yeah, because my point is, I'm trying to get in ahead of the handicapper as well, or the bettor, because a lot of people bet that, this team has to win. This team's on the bubble. They need it. I mean, how many times have we heard that people, willing to bet on it based on that?
Yeah, and our idea, I guess, our thought process at Las Vegas Sports Consultants was if we think the game should be 2 and we add an extra point and make a -3, that by the time the bookmaker gets it, he's thinking the same thing and not asking us that if we built that in or not. He's going to put it up 3.5 or 4, and then if he takes a bet, he's going to move it a point, because he knows that that's the hot team that they need to win, and that's where the money's going to come in. So that's kind of the process to it, and those games do move quickly, and that's how I always suggest people bet early if you've got a hunch that a team has to win a game.
Hey, how about one we were discussing earlier, a prop bet that's been put out, and 2 different sites. One, it's the SEC versus the field winning the national championship in college basketball. One site has the SEC -140, the field +110, and the other one has the field -140 and the SEC +110. The variance in some of these prop bets, I guess, because maybe the limits are smaller.
Yeah, the limits are smaller, and maybe when the second book put their line up, they didn't even know the other book had a line. I would not want to build in an arbitrage for players, that's for sure. I don't care how smart you think you are, you're never going to beat arbitrage players. It's impossible. So you wouldn't want to put that on your board. I would have waited a minute to see where it went, and then I would have put up a little different price. I probably would have put up 115 each way, and then tried to get somebody to, bet me on the opposite side of the other book and build a case against them.
There you go.
I think they work on it. Chris Andrews in the South Point actually put that prop up first, and it's almost over a month ago that he put that prop up, because I think he was looking at his power ratings, and he saw 6 teams from the SEC in his top 10, and he asked me about it. Now, Vinny Maliulio asked me about it, and I said, Vinny, I got 6 SEC teams in my top 10. I said, they got to be probably a favorite to win it all, and I think we were right on the price at about $1.50. So yeah, I think that's the right price.
I think he put it out because Colucci's on with us too. He put it out as the field minus like 50, 60, and it was bet down to closer to Pick'em. You know.
I thought the field should have been $1.50. So I would lay even money or pick and take the field. You had so many more teams. The SEC is obviously going to beat themselves up. There's going to be an SEC team, one or two in the Final Four, so that does make it a little more difficult at that point.
Yeah, we were trying to come up with teams that could win it all, and it's about the same. The SEC. Yeah. I think I got one more outside of the SEC that I'll give a chance than in the SEC. So. But, yeah. And,
I've been watching a documentary on ESPN this morning, waiting for some women's games to come on, and they're doing basketball in the South, and I remember Pete Maravich growing up, and, wow, I would try to emulate him in the driveway and watching him play, and it is amazing how great of a player he was, and they're going on. They're showing a lot more about the coaches in the SEC, and it's a really good documentary on ESPN. I think it's on ESPNU, but I was amazed to go back. I went to look at Pistol Pete's NBA career, and he had a really good career. Only 1 year he averaged more than 30, but I was shocked that the three-point shot came in at the end of his career. And he ended up he didn't shoot many of those, but he was 10 for 15, 67% in his NBA career from three-point range. Could you imagine if Pistol Pete played in this day and age with a shot clock and the three-point line? He may have averaged 60 a game.
It's I used to go to some of those Jazz games when he played there. But, growing up, too, this is right when VCRs kind of came in, and, anybody – growing up playing basketball had his tapes and used our high school team used some of his drills. The ball handling skills are, you talk about players still today that use his tapes, sort of his drills that he does to try and improve the ball handling. No, way, way, way ahead of his time, no doubt. Anything on the limited college card tonight that you're looking at, Kenny, on the men's side?
Oh, the baseball?
Baseball or basketball?
Yeah, because I was just limited. I only got 3 games on the board in baseball today, and I haven't even seen any lines. I'm going to guess that I may have a play on Arizona. They're just a far better team than Pepperdine. I'm probably lay 3.5 runs or something like that if I can find it. Let me see here. Men's college hoops. I like Merrimack tonight. I like them a lot. I think I sent that out in my VIP club this morning. I only made it a 2% play, but I think it can be worth more because these are my favorite types of plays where you've got the better team with motivation and they just need to win the game. So, you're not laying points. So that's my favorite type of bet. I also like Michigan State tonight on the road against Iowa. Iowa's, a team that is falling apart as of late. They're not scoring like they used to, and that's because of a couple of injuries to a couple of their key players in their lineup, and let me make double check to make sure. Yeah, Owen Freeman's the key guy that's been out, and he's still out, and they've struggled without him. They've lost 7 of their last 9 games, and now they're playing a Michigan State team that can probably lock up the conference championship with a win here tonight.
KennyWhiteSports.com. Kenny, anything special? A lot of people, we're going to want to play the NCAA tournament that it, hasn't really played the college basketball at all, but looking for maybe some picks or service. What do you have available at KennyWhiteSports.com for March Madness?
Well, Jimmy, my power rating product was meant for the everyday player that wants to learn how to handicap on their own. And the power ratings are the foundation. It's 75% of the equation. So $25 gets you that sheet every night before the games, the night before you get it, and you get to go over the lines, what I made them, and then look at the differences and figure out if you want to bet them or not. That's the best one. If you don't want to do all that work, sign up for the VIP club. It's a lot easier. That's $150 a month, though. I do all the work for you, and all you got to do is log on. You get a alert that, hey, Kenny's going to play out, or one of my other guys in the club have a play. Going to add a couple more guys to the rotation, too, since it's March Madness now. So we'll have some guys coming back into the VIP club putting in their NCAA tournament picks.
Sounds good. Great stuff. Kenny, great stuff as always, man. Good luck to you this week. We'll talk to you next week during championship week.
Thanks, Jimmy. You too. Thanks for having me on the show. Appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
All right. Live at lunch, live at Los Reyes. Beautiful day here in the capital city, out here in the covered patio. Man, come on by here to Los Reyes. Open all the way through from lunch to dinner, 7 days a week here at Los Reyes. Live at lunch, live at Los Reyes, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch.
Thibodaux store, 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodaux. The weather's warming up here, at least, well, most of this week. You're getting out in the garden. Lawn and garden specials on the website right now. 600-pound garden carts on special right now on the website. Your 6-foot steel wheelbarrows on special on the website right now. And tons of the turf builder fertilizer, multiple styles of that and multiple sizes of bags. All of those on special right now on the website. The Cajun Cooking Specialty Cookware remains on special here at the Thibodaux store website, thibodauxstore.com, and that specialty cookware can be shipped right to your door. If you're down on the property itself, lots of grills plus the Big Green Egg cookers are available at the Thibodaux store, and if you're ready to break out the fishing gear, you can add to your collection there at the Thibodaux store. 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodaux, and online it's thibodauxstore.com.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Los Reyes Mexican Grill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Here at Los Reyes, SEC Women's Tournament underway here in day number 2. Oklahoma and Georgia, the first game. Sooners with a 4-point lead early. Arnold Palmer, Cam Davis is your leader, along with Greiserman, excuse me. Davis and Greiserman both at 3 under. Greiserman just through 8. Davis has only got 1 hole to go to finish up his round. Scotty Scheffler also going to 18. He is 1 under. Colin Morikawa also at 1 under. He is through.
The wind is dying
15.
down, so the golfers are just kind of getting going, like Greiserman, Rory, Lowry.
Lowry's even through 4.
Yeah.
So is Rory.
Advantage to them over the guys like Aubert and Scheffler, who are dealing with most of the wind today.
Come on out and see us here at Los Reyes.
The weather, Charlie.
The fantastic weather, and we're out on the covered patio, but there is the open air patio as well.
Hey, the traffic is flowing now. They moved the train, but the lights are still blinking, but the traffic is flowing on bright side now.
So you got an open shot to come here.
So Josie, he can go back home safely now. He doesn't have to try and dodge the train.
Tomorrow we're at Rufino's at 11 a.m. Hope you can make it in your plans to be with us then. For Max and Jimmy, Jordan back in the studio. I'm Charles Hannigan saying thank you and good afternoon. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No